actually still remembered as one of the most beautiful, maybe the most beautiful. It's like the epitome of beauty.
We didn't get to see her though.
Yeah, it's a myth. One of those things people tell and tell and tell, and then we tell.
I've been telling you about all the goods about honey. This time you have to be careful. This is it. Recently, it was discovered in a laboratory in Canada. It has some bacteria that is not harmful to adults, but it's not very good for children.
Okay.
So when you're administering honey to children, you should be very careful. You should be sure that is the right thing to do at a particular point in time.
So check with the doctor.
Check with the doctor. Right. And another thing you should understand is honey should not be overcooked. When you go above 108 degrees Fahrenheit.
Do you cook honey?
Yes, people bake with honey. People make honey pie.
Okay.
People make,
sorry.
Yes.
Those of you who are into pies, forgive me. Because I was like, it's so naturally sweet.
There are plenty of recipes. So when you cook above 180 degrees, it becomes a substance that is like glue.
Okay.
And the system cannot very well digest that.
All right.
So you should be very, very careful. And it is sugar anyway. Not all kinds of types of honey.
I guess that's why we're having a delicious plate of chicken there.
Yes. Not all kinds of honey are very low in glycemic index.
Okay.
So at some point in time,
if you're diabetic, you have to check.
You should be careful. Go more with the very dark honey that looks very ugly. The scientists say that one is really safe and low in glycemic.
That might be what they've poured on this other chicken that way.
No, maybe it's because it's coming from the oven.
But I'm getting the feeling, though, that in terms of health, what is darker, what is sour, what is bitter, what doesn't look very pretty is always the healthiest.
Yes, they have always said it that whatever is good for the soul and the heart and health is necessarily never ever good in the mouth or in front of the eyes all the time. I
remember a comment a friend of mine, he's a chef in England, said when you look at the plate of food and it's very beautiful, you can imagine how many times a finger touched something on the food.
Right.
So
and that's infectious to hear.
Yeah, so I tend to think it mustn't look beautiful to eat. You know, if you want to eat it, don't look at the beauty. Look at the taste. Can
you imagine they put a cucumber salad in front of you with just tomatoes and onions,
and you're like,
how that goes down?
Is this for me or is decoration?
And then think about salad that comes.
But yet it's good for your health.
It's good for your health. But
and
salad
then
that comes with all
load me a plate of a fufu and eru, with oil dripping from it. And I'm like, bless you. But then my body will be like, Pochi, what did you do? So please take everything in proportion. We give you and then you choose what you want to do. Mara, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
Let's leave the honey and go discover a plant. Do you worry about slimming sometimes? Is that something on your mind?
Every woman worries about that. Like, you jump up anytime and you scream hooray and you're like, let me measure something. And
overnight? Okay, so maybe this plant called the Fusong plant can help you. We're going into our backyards, we're going into our forest to talk to Parfire, a regular resource person who has a lot of knowledge on traditional healing. He's standing by to tell us about this plant.
Hello, Cameroon fans, viewers of CRTV. Another beautiful Tuesday morning. In fact, it looks really bright, and we are going to discuss a new plant today. This is a plant most people know that they use it for soup, but I want you to observe people within this area, people who live on this plant as soup. Some call it susong, others call it fusong. You see, look at the plant very well. You get this inner part. This is a plant that, just like the way some researchers discovered the bush mango, that is a slimming cause, and they've done it so well that it can be preserved well. So too, I think if they get into this, maybe they'll be able to get something out of this. And even the plant cactus that they saw in South Africa, which researchers have produced today, it is well preserved and it's helping so many people. You see, if you look at families who prepare this for their fine soup with no oil, you realize that they are slim. I remembered when my grandmother used to prepare this soup for me. In fact, I was looking like letter I because I was like this. And you look at the family, my mother, my grandmother, they were all like this. Slim, fine, strong, healthy. My grandmother at 104, she used to go to farm She was 104 years. She goes to farm, prepares her, works at farm, and then comes back. And whenever I'm around, she will prepare me this as soup. This fuson. You see, they cut it like this fresh one. You see, this one, this part of it. See? They slice well. Look at it carefully. You know this plant. It's a common plant and it grows all over. When you slice it well, prepare it, put your condiments. Well, my grandmother used to prepare. You know, most old women in those days, they didn't use to make what we call fryer. Chua! No, she boils it well, put a small fine pepper, mostly the small eye pepper, you know, some small salt, and in some cases, she adds a bit of urchin. Urchin that is from the urchin that is prepared from plantain peels. And believe me, we eat. You eat and you drink. You can drink the soup. Those who want to lose weight, let them try it. But I'm not saying that there are people who are fat, which is really natural, that no matter what they do, they still remain that way. But those who can't, living on eating too much and developing weight, let them go on this fuso. Prepare it as I've told you. See this fresh part. It's not the one that is strong. This soft one, just like the one I've eaten. You see? Slice it well. Prepare a soup, no oil. And that is what I think we are doing today. It is something, treasure that we should look at carefully. And if we are overweight, I told you from my own experience, when I used to eat it, I was like letter I. So, hello viewers, really very brief, but a good plant. Really good medicinal plant, because there are people who are overweight and you see they start complaining, they may have chest pain, heart pain. Look, I will recommend the fuson plant. Prepare it as your soup, your condiments. Sometimes we prepare it with, you know, what the Southwesterners call misep, but we call it in our language efim. Prepare it with it and you take. This Tuesday morning, wonderful Tuesday morning, for you, hello Cameroon viewers, it's a wonderful wish. Till next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye-bye, Parfai. Thank you so much for being there each Tuesday to enlighten us. Now you know about that fuson plant. Now let's talk about some church rendezvous. The youth of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon from the Ekunu neighborhood are starting a cultural festival. They call it Festinac. And one of them is here to tell us about the when, the where, and the activities involved in this festival. Evina Angu Jasmine. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Thank you for coming on Hello Cameroon.
Thank you too for the opportunity.
All right. Is this the first edition of Festinac?
No, this is the 7th edition, because the 6th edition was in Douala.
All right.
So we are on the 7th edition, which is in Yaoundé now, and it's going to the neighborhood Ekunu. That's Paras, Yaoundé Paras Sion. Parish Sion, let me say like that. Yes, and so we want it to be so big. That's why we came here to make the youth informed, to make them know that it's in Yaoundé, and so they should come, many of them, in order for the glory of the Lord, because everything is for the glory of the Lord, and we know that the youths are for our future nation. Yes, so we want them to be numerous. So that's why we came this morning.
It's starting on the 12th and goes up to the 14th. But I did hear you mention many artists coming to make this
of course,
moment of music.
When you're mentioning art and culture, we can only miss that kind of activities.
Name some for us.
So, let me first say, on Saturday, we'll be having a march that's going from Ekunu. We'll be going to EP school. In fact, we'll be marching for the peace, peace and unity of Cameroon.
All right.
Yes, and so after that one, we'll be having some other numerous activities, which is, as you said, artists. We'll be having Obe Jazz. You know, he started as a chorist, and yeah, in the EPC. So he will be there, and we're also having Indira and Martial. You know, we have so many of these artists that grew in the EPC and then further, went out. So all of them will come in to, for the glory of the Lord, you sing with their marvelous voices. Yeah.
Don't worry, please keep talking. I enjoy when one person is working in another language. It tells us how much bridging we need to do in this country. Please keep doing the bridging work. Now, tell me about what is the message? I know this is a cultural festival, but it's not all about coming to sing and dance. What is?
No, it's not all coming about to sing and dance. Of course, you know, when you are coming together like that, we have a theme.
Okay.
Yes. And so the theme of this 7th edition, you know that now we are in the 21st century where digital weapons are our main daily.
We use them daily.
Yeah, daily. So we come together in order to make this, how can I say, our quality. Because there are certain use that they just see others using.
And they just dive into them.
So you want them to use it as a, how can I say,
better tool,
positive tool, and even in our because you see them, some people will just mention a qualification in their CV, but they don't take it important. So we want them to know that it
gives more value to themselves,
of course,
with the digital technology. Digital
and for the unity, because we say the match, and for the unity and the diversity of our Cameroon.
All right. In fact, thank you so much, Jasmine, for coming. And I hope you have a wonderful event with the youths of the Presbyterian
Of course,
Church
I wanted to
Cameroon.
mention that we're having Miss Masters, because we know we want to have awareness in religion. We have how to search the
election
Bible,
of
Miss Master Festinac. We're having search Bible. We're having general knowledge. We have so many games. So we want all of the youths that are getting this message to come, many of them. So we'll be welcoming.
Well, if you're watching us, and if you know,
free.
if you're a parent watching us and you think this, and I'm thinking it's one of the moments that should interest you, it's going to be happening here in Yaoundé from the 12th to the 14th of May. Thank you very much, Evina Ango Jasmine, for coming.
Thank you,
and I feel like giving you a fruit. What should I give you? I should give you what?
I prefer banana.
Banana. You run into trouble with my colleagues, because everybody here is a banana business. Have a beautiful day, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
Same to you.
have a successful event.
Thank you.
All right. Let me move from that moment to a moment that is not the best. This is sometime last week. Artists, reggae artists, and other artists went right to Ndop to go and say a final goodbye to Silva. Silva is an artist. I'll be telling you a lot more about him shortly, but I just want you to watch how these artists paid their last tribute to their brother in music. They decided to sing one of his songs that was on peace. You know, Silva was a peace advocate, and he did a lot in terms of that. And we'll be talking to Eugene Galim in the course of this program, because he worked a lot as well with Eugene Galim on his peace projects. But first, let's see how his friends, his colleagues, his brothers took him to his parents' home in Dop and said goodbye to him.
Everybody, we need peace in Africa. Everybody,
That's how artists, especially friends of Silva in reggae, decided to pay tribute to him. We actually did a collage of pictures of Njoabe Louis, who called himself Silva, and want to present that collage to you. We're expecting here in the studio Chembi Muna, who is or who was his producer, and Eugene Galim, who worked a lot with the advocate part of Silva before he died. We're wishing that they'll get to the studio early enough so we get to talk to them and have their own impression of what the artist leaves behind. But first, let me take you through a collage of these pictures and to show you just who exactly Silva was. I want to start with this picture that you're going to see pictures of him with different artists. Njoabe Kwenyi Louis was born in 1970 in Dop. He went to school in the Northwest region, and it is said, so his friends say his musical talent actually prospered when he was in the university, where he studied and earned a bachelor's degree in history and geography. But his passion, as many people who knew him would say, was music. He actually went on to be the director of the orchestra, the school orchestra, and he composed the national anthem of the first university games and went on to win several awards, including Best Song at the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Human Rights in 1998. But another thing about Silva that many people do not know is that he got very involved in peace issues. He sang for peace, a song that was used at the United Nations, and he went many places with Eugene Galim of Cameroon, and we are wishing that you could see that that's Silva and Eugene Galim. And as we speak, we're still expecting if you can send us messages. If you knew Silva, if you remember him, if you enjoyed his song like we did, you want to send a word to 667479043 so that we can let his friends, his family, and those who knew him to know that a great man lived and a great man died. But of course, just a moment as well as I'm talking about Silva, it's a moment for me to remind you that on Thursday we are going to be also remembering somebody who is a reggae icon. Some people will call him the father of reggae. We're talking about Bob Marley. He died on an 11th of May, 1981, many years down the line. We choose to make this week a week of reggae. Today we talk about Silva, and on Thursday we talk about Bob Marley. If you have thoughts for any of them, then you should feel free to text us and we'll share them with the rest of the world. I think we're going to have a small song and then we'll talk just after.
Chaotic state of mentality right now. The world is going crazy as a matter of fact. We are tired of the wars that making every day run down. We are tired of the killings. We are tired of the suffering. And the time has come for us to say no, 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 no. Remember that we are one in the eyes of the mighty. Ay, 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 la paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix, nous voulons la paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix.
That's a song from Silva, We Would Need Peace. And we'll probably get more of that song after the news. But as I was talking to you, Chembi Muna is here with Eugene Galim. These are people who work closely with Silva. Chembi, you were his manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
All right. We're just going to go very quickly there because we are almost at news time. But tell me, in a few words, how would you describe Silva?
I think, as I said before on the web, Silva was a good performer, good recording, and a very talented artist, reggae artist.
Okay. And what do you remember of him?
I remember his song, just like the one you just played, Peace song, the power of his text.
Yeah.
That's what I remember of Silva,
He died on April 14, 2017 at the age of 47. Unfortunately. What would you like fans to remember of Silva? What message would you like to give? Because you were his manager, you worked closely with him.
Yeah. I want people to remember Silva as somebody that stood for the causes, the problems in the society and things like that. But as I always say, he was a very good writer, very good poet, and a very good performer. Those are the three things I want people to remember of Silva.
I agree with you that we'll remember him for that because his words went very far and they will continue to go very far. Another person who worked closely with him, but on the other side of it, because he was also an advocate, is Eugene Galim. Eugene, do you want to maybe define to us the advocate part of Silva? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. I think I knew Silva many years ago at the university. When I got to the university, he was in the third year. So that's how we became friends because most of the notes I use were his notes.
Okay.
And he helped to orientate me in the university. And then later in the years, we discovered Silva in the Yaoundé Music Club. And that's where we became close friends, especially when we started the Cameroon Youth and Students Forum for Peace, because we use music and theater a lot in our activities.
Okay.
And that's how we got Silva, because he was good in composing songs that were appealing to the cause.
We saw pictures of him with you, probably maybe in Addis Ababa?
Yeah, most of the activities we did, and we also managed to get him to Addis Ababa, especially in my capacity as the chairperson of the Peace and the Security Cluster of the AU ECOSOC.
Okay.
We were able to get Silva to Addis Ababa to perform in front of the panel of the wise. The panel of the wise, these are great minds in Africa appointed by head of state to handle issues on peace and conflict and to report back to the head of state. And so Silva had the opportunity of performing in front of them. And, it was one of the best performances that Silva ever had. And I think his passing away is really unfortunate because AU has been counting on Silva, and I know his last album had so much to do with that. There was a song specifically for the AU, and many other developmental organizations like UN Women, like Control Arms and so on, because most of the songs...
because he was powerful at writing.
Yeah, most of the songs in the studio were all on either on violence on women, on ending arms, terrorism, extreme violence, no corruption, and so on and so forth. And like I say, this was going to be the best of Silva, and this was going to take Silva to the peak of his career.
They say God takes only the best, and I as a Christian, I believe that. So any final word, if you had a chance to say something to his fans, his family, and people like you who were close to him, what would you say?
I think Silva lives forever. We happen to have been part of the funeral ceremony.
Yes, we saw images here.
In the village, and I couldn't imagine the crowd that Silva pulled. I couldn't imagine. I think even his family couldn't imagine how popular Silva was.
Okay.
And we regret that he's gone, but I think he lives forever.
All right.
The fact that he's an artist never dies, and we know he continues to be in our midst.
Chembi Muna, Eugene Galim, two people who knew Silva on Joabe Louis very closely, especially before he died. Thank you so much for coming on Hello Cameroon, and we'll have a beautiful day. I would have wished to give you some fruit, so maybe I'll give that behind because it's almost 7 o'clock and it's time for us to get into the newsroom. We're going to have a horoscope. It's 7 o'clock and it's a time when we receive a beautiful lady. She's today in red. That's the color, and it probably tells you her heart today. But she's right here, Patricia Leba Matukson, for the news. She'll be informing you, and then we'll be teasing her after that because we don't want to do that right now. We'll do that after the show, right? Good morning, Patricia. How are you?
Good morning, Patricia.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Now this is your time.
The chair of the African Commission, Chadian Von Musa Faki Mahamat, is in Cameroon on a consultation visit during which he will meet and explore ways of introducing reforms in the AU Commission with Cameroonian authorities. Musa Faki Mahamat, who is at the head of an 8-strong delegation, began his consultation yesterday in a tete-a-tete with External Relations Minister Lejeune Mbela Mbela. Clarice Ari Takang has the details.
The visit comes after a meeting in Kigali, Rwanda, where the AU top official took part in talks on proposed reforms regarding the social, political, and economic well-being of the continental body. These include tax imports from member states to finance the AU, establishing a protocol to issue African passports to citizens, peace and security on the continent, the promotion of economic integration, and also that the AU should play a leading role on the global scene. Upon his arrival at the Yaoundé-Simalène airport, Musa Faki Mahamat and his delegation were received by External Relations Minister Lejeune Mbela Mbela. Amongst the reasons for his stopover in Cameroon, as was disclosed, the African Union's decision to support Cameroon and other affected countries in their fight against Boko Haram, and also the need to discuss proposed AU reforms with authorities. It is equally his first official visit to the sub-region, a few months after taking over as president of the African Union Commission, amidst calls for better working relations between the AU and sub-regional institutions.
And an Ivorian delegation led by the country's Minister of Political Dialogue and Relations with Institutions, Ahusu Kwadio-Jano, is in Cameroon to acquaint himself with the bicameral parliamentary system and the decentralization process as they are currently unfolding in Cameroon. The Ivorian minister held talks in separate audiences with the heads of parliament and some cabinet ministers. Charles Anyangwe reports.
It's indeed a busy day for the visiting Ivorian Minister of State, Ahusu Kwadio-Jano. His first stop this Monday was in the cabinet of Senate President Marcel Nyat-Ndjifenji, where he discussed with his host on the organization and functioning of the upper house of parliament in Cameroon.
I have been sent by the President of Ivory Coast, Mr. Alassane Ouattara, to come in Cameroon to see, to know, to inspire how Cameroon Senate work. And we think that Cameroon Senate is a good example. We have just paid a visit to the President of Senate.
After the Senate, the Ivorian Minister of State for Political Dialogue and Relations with Institutions was received at the National Assembly. Here, its president, Kavaye Jibril, and his august guest spoke lengthily on the bicameral parliamentary system of government in Cameroon and how it functions. Minister Ahusu Kwadio-Jano was very satisfied as he left the lower house of parliament for the Yaoundé Conference Center. At the Yaoundé Conference Center, the august guest was received by the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owona, who represented the Vice Prime Minister in charge of parliamentary affairs. Their discussions during the audience centered around the creation of the Senate of Cameroon. A book written by Eman Teme on the creation of the Senate in Cameroon was handed over to the Ivorian minister, who said it would guide them in the creation of the Senate of Côte d'Ivoire. He acknowledged that the Senate of Cameroon was created with a solid background. The last stop of the Ivorian senior minister was at the Ministry of External Relations. Here, he expressed the excellent bilateral relations existing between Cameroon and Côte d'Ivoire. The Minister of External Relations, Mbela Mbela Lejeune, assured the Ivorian senior minister that his country should count on Cameroon's support towards the creation of a Senate in Côte d'Ivoire.
And over in the Southwest region, the Minister of Secondary Education, Jean-Ernest Massenangale Bibihe, has been visiting units charged with the preparation of the GCE examinations days to the start of the written part of that examination. For more on the visit, we cue in with our Southwest regional correspondent in Boyer.
Given that the mock exams that lead to the practical and written phases of the examinations organized by the Cameroon GC Board and Office du Bac are ongoing, the minister's visit to the southwest region was very timely.
My presence here in the southwest region is to be sure that all measures have been taken to secure our exams. And after that workshop and the visit and the workshop we have with the main actors, I can say that everything has been done to have a good examination in the southwest region.
Bilingual Grammar School Moliko, one of the biggest accommodation centers for the GCE general subjects, probatoire and bac general exams, was among colleges visited. The Form 5 Arts, Upper Seat Science and Terminal classes were busy writing the mock, all of these put together. The minister, Jean-Enes Masina Ngale Bibe, had a briefing with administrative authorities of the Southwest, education stakeholders, the registrar of the Cameroon GC Board, Dr. Humphrey Ekema Monono, and the director of Office du Bac, Dr. Zachary Batsogo.
And from the southwest back to the center region, a convention on the promotion of research in universities was recently signed between the University of Yaoundé II and Afridit. In line with this, a group of lecturers of the university have proposed a practical guide to set up economic growth in Cameroon. Maimuna Njoya reports from CRTV Center.
Prior to the revision of the Growth and Employment Strategic Paper in 2020, a group of lecturers in the University of Yaoundé II are proposing a practical guide to step up economic growth in the areas of training, education, technology, innovation, and agriculture. This is contained in a book presented in Yaoundé on the occasion of a ceremony to sign a convention on the promotion of research in universities between the University of Yaoundé II and the publishing house known as Africaine d'édition, Afridit.
The main objective of this convention is to give the possibility, give the opportunities to all those university works to be well known by the public administration and all those people who decided in Cameroon.
Concretely, the book proposes solutions for a rapid growth rate in Cameroon, and according to the author, Professor Henri Ngouatabi, Cameroon has great potentials and can attain its emergence if only there is enough coordination in the implementation of the Big Push strategy, which demands that the development of a country must be enhanced at equal levels in the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors.
To improve the growth rate in Cameroon, we must transform our economics. To transform this economics, we have 5 topics. The first one is the diversification of the economy. This diversification of economy in Cameroon, his index is 69%. This is a good index to go through the world market.
Based on a study carried out by the African Center for Economic Transformation, Cameroon occupies the 8th position out of 21 countries whose economies can be diversified and rendered productive. This goes with avoiding indebtedness and encouraging competitive exports.
And we go over to South Africa, where CRTV's envoy Fonka Mutabobena is attending the 4th parliamentary session that opened yesterday in Midrand, South Africa. His report.
Traditionally, an African dignitary is invited to the opening plenary of the Pan-African Parliament. This time, 2 presidents showed up to inspire the people's representatives. Rockmark Kabore of Burkina Faso and Arthur Peter Mutharika of Malawi.
We believe in standing together in a united front. We believe that united we are rock, divided we are sand. Our national boundaries should never be an excuse for division.
Another high point of the opening event, Gertrude Mutharika, First Lady of Malawi, is recognized as Goodwill Ambassador of the Pan-African Parliament. Parliamentary diplomacy was also at the heart of Monday's plenary. Arikana Chihombori, the AU's ambassador to the US and Canada, stressed the need to maintain healthy ties with the US Congress despite the signs of the times, noting that Africa's diaspora is able, willing, and ready to help.
An MOU has been drafted by Pan-African Parliament, and we are now in the process of circulating it through the Congress with the hope that before the end of the year, we could have a relationship, a working relationship between the Pan-African Parliament and the United States Congress.
Maja Gojkovic, the Speaker of the National Assembly of Serbia, requested Africa's support in her country's bid to join UNESCO. Pedro Roque, President of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Mediterranean, sought collaboration in dealing with migration flows from the Sahel to the Mediterranean, while Meshal al-Sulami, new President of the Arab Parliament, pressed for UN reforms and Africa's help to end what he termed apartheid in Palestine. Fired up by their statements, members of the Continental Parliament attending the fourth session of the Fourth Parliament will during the next 2 weeks pore over the continent's gravest concerns. Bo Bernard Fonkamuta, CRTV News, Midrand, South Africa.
And still in news out of the country, South Koreans are voting in a presidential election court early after a huge corruption scandal brought down their former leader. Left-leaning Moon Jae-in is in clear front runner with centrist Ahn Cheol-soo, his nearest challenger. The election is being closely watched at a time of economic uncertainty and heightened tensions in North Korea. And parents of the missing Chibok girls are slowly learning if their daughters are among the 82 freed by Boko Haram militants in Nigeria 2 days ago. The girls' names were put on Twitter by the president's office on Sunday. They were flown to the capital, Abuja. But in Chibok, their home region in northeastern Nigeria, not everyone has access to social media. It is unclear if the government has made other attempts to let them know if their daughters are now safe. And since Monday, people are checking the newspapers to see who was on the list and decide whether to make the journey to Abuja or not. And that's how we saw the 7 a.m. edition of the news today. Up next with the news, 8 a.m., Marie-Laurence K takes you with the news in a French language.
While waiting to get there, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Welcome.
I was going to tease you, but maybe I should just give you a carrot.
You tease me with
I should give you a carrot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
nice.
you much.
Have a beautiful day.
And
see you on Thursday.
With the same pleasure.
All right. Today is a silver day on Hello Cameroon, and we want to give you this song. It's a call for peace by Silva. May his soul rest in peace.
Chaotic state of mentality right now. The world is going crazy as a matter of fact. We are tired of the wars that making every day run now. We are tired of the killings. We are tired of the suffering. The time has come for us to say no, no, no. Remember that we are one in the eyes of the mighty. Ay, 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 paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix, nous voulons la paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix, nous voulons la paix. We are here and now, taking an oath, sharing with everyone the peace that we have inside. As we go around the world, making known to everyone that peace what we build. Ay, 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 la paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix, nous voulons la paix. La paix, on veut la paix, oh la paix, nous voulons la paix. answer. Hate is not the end of it all. Love is the ultimate. We should learn to forgive, don't forget. Feelings of a brighter future for the sake of humanity. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. On veut la paix. Oh, la paix. Nous voulons la paix. On est fatigué. La paix. On veut la paix. Oh, la paix. Nous voulons la paix. Aïe, 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 la paix. On veut la paix. Oh, la paix. Nous voulons la paix. La paix. On veut la paix. Oh, la paix. Nous voulons la paix. La paix. On veut la paix. Oh, la paix. Nous voulons la paix.
We need peace, and even if artists say that and go, they leave the message with us, and we will continue to need peace. Thank you very much, Silva, for giving us that beautiful gift. Now let's talk newspapers and the headlines that we have today. And Baldwin, you're saying there's, of course, the GCE in the newspapers, among other things.
We have among other stories that do run through our newspapers, especially we talk about the election of Emmanuel Macron as
Exactly.
the president-elect of France. That was last Sunday, and that's the story you can read on the front page of today's edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper, the election of Emmanuel Macron as president of France. This edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper profiles who Emmanuel Macron is and talks about what Emmanuel Macron, what African will he be? It was as much as possible to explain what may just be his own philosophy and what will be the relationship between France and the African continent, given the long-standing fruitful relationship that has so far been existing between France and the African continent. Now, with the election of Emmanuel Macron as the new president of France, how would that relationship look like in the days or in the weeks ahead? That you can read by getting a copy of today's edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper. We stay with Cameroon Tribune this time to talk about education. And talking about education, it lays emphasis on upcoming end-of-year examinations with the Southwest and Northwest regions mobilization for hitch-free examinations. This edition of Cameroon Tribune newspaper explains to us that the Minister of Secondary Education, Jean-Ernest Massinangale Bibehe, was in the Southwest region yesterday. It's on Cameroon Tribune newspaper, where we met with secondary education stakeholders to assess how ready the Southwest region is prior to end-of-year examinations organized by the Cameroon GCE board. That is, and also he will be in the Northwest region this Tuesday, still to meet with some education authorities in the Northwest region to give him an idea as to how the state of affairs in Bamenda prior to end-of-year examinations organized by the Cameroon GCE board. Read that story by getting to page 2 of today's edition of our Lone Bilingual Daily. Mutation newspaper this morning talks about sports, and with sports, it lays emphasis on Agnoa, the elections at Agnoa. There's a need to save the Cameroonian candidates Ahmad Kalkaba Malboum. Agnoa happens to be the Association of National Olympic and Sports Committees in Africa, and Ahmad Kalkaba Malboum, president of the National Olympic and Sports Committee in Cameroon, is a candidate vying for the post of president of Agnoa. Unfortunately, this paper informs us that on Sunday, during the executive bureau meeting of Agnoa, they had to disqualify, sideline the candidacy of Ahmad Kalkaba Malboum for what they refer to as the non-respect of ethics. And he had to retaliate, Kalkaba Malboum had to retaliate. And the paper explains to us that the final verdict will be known today during the General Assembly meeting of Agnoa, bringing together all the presidents of National Olympic and Sports Committees in Africa. Will be known whether or not his candidacy has been retained for the post of president of this Association of National Olympic and Sports Committees in Africa. Read that story in today's edition of Mutation newspaper. Emergence newspaper talks about misappropriation of state funds in some institutions in Cameroon and also parastatals, with this budget and disciplinary committee for the Supreme State audit that was published its report for the year 2016 after investigations in some state institutions and parastatals. It has revealed that for 2016, 11,651,286,470 francs was the government lost that amount of money in 2016, given that it was misappropriated. That's between 2002 and 2014 by just 33 civil servants who misappropriated that amount of money. And top amongst these institutions concerned with the misappropriation of state funds, this edition of Emergence Newspaper informs us that we have Campost and the Douala Port Authority. And at the level of Campost, saying that 8 persons indicted for having siphoned 7,458,915,000 CFA francs. And at the level of the Douala Port Authority, 3 persons indicted for having siphoned 4,124,399,000 CFA francs. Report by the Disciplinary and Budget Committee of the Supreme State Audit published recently. The Guardian Post newspaper this morning informs us that some 5 activists of the Southern Cameroon's National Council, the SCNC, arrested some 5 years ago are rotting in jail. As per what is published in this paper, the remanded in custody of these activists were arrested in Bamenda and Boya are yet to undergo trial. What exactly is happening? It goes further to paint a picture as to their detention conditions here in Yaoundé. Read that in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. As we move over to the Post newspaper, for Monday, Archbishop Cleda's school resumption crusade crashes. The Archbishop of Archbishop Samuel Cleda, in his ongoing mission to convince education authorities, Catholic education authorities, for effective school resumption, and also parents who have children in these schools. The paper tells us that it crashed as bishops clash over Anglophone crisis as they met with Archbishop Samuel Cleda, both in the southwest and in the northwest regions. It is a similar story you can read in the latest edition of the Sun newspaper, still talking about the Anglophone crisis, as it says that Archbishop Samuel Cleda meets Stonewall in the northwest and southwest regions. The Sun says that parents and clergy resist calls by the President of the National Episcopal Conference for effective school resumption. The Star newspaper, or rather, talks about the head of state who puts smiles on the faces of many Cameroonians in the English-speaking regions, the northwest and southwest regions, with 30 billion referral hospitals for the University of Bamenda and the University of Boya, with the foundation stones for these 2 referral hospitals laid recently by the Minister of Public Health, Andre Mamafuda, was in Bamenda and in Boya recently, and the referral hospitals to be constructed in all the regions. Also, as per what is published in this edition of the Star newspaper, that informs us that the population of the northwest and southwest regions are quite happy, and they have thanked the President of the Republic for this gesture. We end with the Horizon newspaper, still talking about the gestures for the President of the Republic. President Paul Biya praised the northwest and southwest regions with projects and aids after the laying of the foundation stones for the referral hospitals in Bamenda and in Boya. He had to make available so much money to compensate victims of that fire incident at the Bamenda food market recently. The population, these victims, who've also expressed gratitude to the head of state for his timely gesture.
Thank you very much, Boarding Summer. I had my eyes stuck on a headline there that on the last paper about 4 that perished in an accident, and I want to say our roads are still very, very not very safe for us, and it's a rainy season. Yep. So if you're on the road, if you're going to take the road, please be safe. We want to know that you left, you came back, and you are all safe. Thank you very much, Boarding Summer, for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
All right. We have carrots today now. I know you are not a banana person and a sugar cane person.
I've seen an orange there.
You've seen an orange?
Yes.
Yay. Let's do this. Whoa, the guy is up and fit. Boarding Summer, I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, God willing.
All right. Well, let's move to our legal page, at the legal slot on Hello Cameroon right now. We are talking about domestic violence. Today we decided to have a chat with the barrister solicitor to talk to us about what domestic violence means and what are some of the legal implications of domestic violence. We have Barrister Faye Henry, who is talking to us. He's from Douala. He's based in Douala. Maybe say a few words to remind you that on Thursday we're going to be having okay, well, there are days like that, but then that's what happens in live shows, and we are up to it. Don't worry. Anytime we get indication that Barrister Faye is ready for you, we'll give him to you. But while waiting, we'll keep talking. We're trained to talk. We'll talk. Okay, is he ready? Let's try to have Barrister Faye, who is talking to us about domestic violence.
When people share the same space, there's bound to be conflict. You can hardly see two people fighting when they don't have a common interest. That common interest can be physical closeness or interests which are not tangible. A husband and wife, they're generally bound to have some conflicts, but the advice given by the pastors and every other person is that they should agree, they should discuss, they should dialogue, but there are times tempers may flare up. Tempers may flare up, and you find one of the parties exercising violence on the other. It can either be the man or the woman, but it's usually the man, because men claim they are physically stronger, and women are advised to be humble and gentle and so on. So while there's domestic violence, it is a relative cause for divorce. Relative in the sense that the party who feels he or she is a victim is the only person to file a petition. That's why relative, because there are certain causes for divorce that are absolute. But in this case, it is a relative cause for divorce. You have married partners who have been living together, and there is domestic violence on a regular basis, but they keep staying together. Yes, we know of quite a few cases. And there are others who even trump up domestic violence in order to seek divorce if they look for causes of divorce and they don't find. Yes, so we advise generally couples to negotiate, but when the tempers are flaying, you are not there. Sometimes in the night, but usually when there are two of them. Hardly do you see domestic violence when there are other people around. In the third world, in Cameroon, yes, there are many cases. There are many cases. But usually the aunties and the mothers-in-law, since generally it is the woman who suffers it, they advise you, no, just stay because of these children. Just stay because of these children. But I know this man was married to 3 wives who used to crack a joke that women usually say, I'm staying in this house only because of these children. But they say that, said, I'm married, the sweetie. So for other reasons, some women just keep staying. And I've known many cases of women who have stayed just because they want the man to sponsor the children until they grow. Once they grow and go to America, she goes maybe to babysit and then stays forever. And only comes back with a coffin one day. Whereas when the man is dead. Actually, once people decide to marry, I think you don't marry because you don't marry a party because you intend to change the party. You marry a party because you intend to tolerate the party. That's my advice. So don't marry somebody because you intend to change the person, because people don't usually change. I often say only a wet baby likes change because the baby is wet. Usually people are conservative. They like their comfort zones. So once you marry a party, decide to stomach the differences you have. Decide to bear the party. I use the school system very often. In the school system, when you have 10 over 20, you have passed. It also means that you have failed 10. But most people in their marriages, they want but 12 over 20 from their partners, sometimes even 100%. I compare marriage sometimes to a table with 3 legs. Once the 3 legs are there, it is balanced. But once one leg is broken, the table starts rocking. Meanwhile, there are two legs left. So people should learn to accept the weaknesses of their partners. I advise women who are suffering from domestic violence to see the priests, because the priests are usually good people to mediate. They should also see the social affairs workers. I will not advise them to go to court, because I've seen a senior citizen in this country who said she has been suffering marital stress for many years, but she believes that it is better than divorce. So I don't encourage divorce. Yes, let them seek advice and from the priests, from the social workers, and even sometimes from their lawyers who may advise them, and from parents too. Because there are usually cases where you say, no, I can't stand this, I will divorce. But after divorcing, you start regretting. I know the decision to marry is not a decision, it's an option. And the decision to divorce is a decision. Why? Because to show that the decision to divorce is a decision is what? A position you take after gathering a lot of information about the situation. Most people, once they divorce, they don't remarry. But I've seen a couple of cases of couples who have divorced and remarried.
Thank you so much for enlightening us on domestic violence and some of the legal implications around that. No comment after you. I mean, how would I dare? Instead, let's go look at what's happening out of Cameroon. If I tell you that there is a new first lady in the world, and she is probably the person highest searched on the internet by the time I'm talking to you, and it will be so for a while. Charles Ebune, good morning. It's with a lot of happiness that I announced that that France has broken the record again. Maybe I should allow you to do it.
No, go ahead.
They have a very young president and a not so young first lady, but a very chic one. You need to see the way she carries her age. And people keep talking about her age. I'm now like, forget it, look at her, and then stop there. But Charles, please, let's talk about that.
Absolutely, you are correct. Let's start with what is next for Emmanuel Macron, the newly elected president of France at the age of 39, who will be replacing outgoing President Francois Hollande. So, what next? Two main issues for the world's newest president.
Charles Ebune, looks like I'm going to, I was going to say we'll have a signal for advertisement, but we'll get back to that.
Okay.
No, we're going to take Macron and then we'll get back to our advertisement.
Absolutely. Two main issues. The first one is that Emmanuel Macron takes office on Sunday as the 8th president of the 5th French Republic. And that, of course, will put an end to the Francois Hollande period. And then the next issue will be the formation of his own government, since he came to office without a political party. Now, there are two key issues involved here. If redressing France's economy is the key issue of the new president, is a top priority, it means that you can expect as the next Prime Minister of France, the current Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde. You can expect as the next Prime Minister of France, the current Ecology Minister, Ségolène Royal. You can expect as the next Prime Minister of France, somebody from the business world. These are not conclusive statements. Don't get me wrong. Now, if solving the security threats facing France is the main cause for the new president, you can expect the current defense minister, Yves Le Drian, to be his prime minister. You can expect the former minister of defense under President Nicolas Sarkozy, Michel Alliot-Marie, to make a comeback. Why am I saying this? France, for more than or roughly a year now, is under a state of emergency. Now, let me explain to the ordinary Cameroonian what a state of emergency means, because it's an expression we use in political sciences all the time. In medical sciences, a state of emergency simply means when a state is in a coma. You are in a difficult position, and that you need energy, a lot of energy, to work out of coma. And that is why in situations of a state of emergency, you see a lot of military personnel around, because they want to use force to take you out of coma. That is the oxygen. Now, if it is rebranding the image of France across the world, then you should expect former Foreign Affairs Minister and the current President of the Constitutional Court of France, Laurent Fabius, to come back as the Prime Minister of France. But whatever happens, it will be somebody with experience in the military world, or somebody with experience in the economic world, or somebody with experience in the diplomatic world.
I have a question for you, Charles Sebune. Emmanuel Macron has said he is the guarantor of new faces and new ways of doing things, but he doesn't have a single House representative.
There will be elections in France in roughly less than a month, as from the 11th of June. And so yesterday, he didn't leave as the chairman of his movement, which is not a political party, which will be transformed into a political party. And when that happens, surely he's going to have a majority. Even if he doesn't get the majority, the parties that supported him during the presidential elections are going to form what they call, in French, une grande alliance, a great alliance.
In fact, there is going to be big politics happening in France in the coming days.
And you just spoke about age, which, of course, is the main issue of concern for most young people around the world today. And most of them are seeing this as a source of inspiration. I know that Aijo was president at the age of 36.
Okay.
I know that Kabila was president at the age of 30. I know that there are some African countries where we have had leaders at the age of 28, 27. Without playing down the value of France, I think that after plus a century of democracy, if it is today that we are having a president in France of 39 years.
An elected president of 39 years old.
I think we are somehow late.
Years.
Yeah, we are somehow late. But it's equally good.
There's a saying somewhere in Africa.
Kabila was president in
Let's
2001.
keep talking about Emmanuel Macron's age and the 30-somethings who are in power.
Sure.
There is a saying in some parts of Africa that when you pick up a stick, you pick the other end.
I know you want to talk about Brigitte. I know you want to talk about Brigitte Macron. But whatever the case, the issue is not about age.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I want us to get this clear, especially amongst us young people. They say power has been hijacked by the old people. I am one of those young people who believes in competence. Whether you are old or young, if you are competent, you should deliver. If you are incompetent...
Well, Charles, thank you so much. I'm just going to send you out with these words. My belief is that a new set has come. Let's give them a chance.
A chance.
We'll have enough time to rant and talk and chat
remember, I told
about
you
them
that
in the course
on
of the
January
program.
3 this year that the next president of France will either be Macron or Marine Le Pen. So and after the first round, I told you that I'm taking the risk of saying
Emmanuel Macron,
will
you
be
did.
president. So my next...
You did, and you deserve a carrot. Yeah, here, have a carrot.
Really?
Yeah, a beautiful carrot for that matter. He said, stating to take my carrot. Charles Ebune, have a beautiful day. Right now,
where is the...
Ask Ruth NJ, that girl called Ruth NJ. He didn't bring my mortar stick today. Ruth, you're, in fact, let's get drama with MC Calvino. Please prepare for a moment of laughter on Hello Cameroon.
No, try, no shake, come, stand for here. Since September, that's why my power will die, leave me company, that's what I want to take.
Where landlord, I will pay you landlord.
Since September, now which one this?
Landlord, wait, landlord,
Now which one this?
Landlord.
You want to explain something?
Landlord, man, talk.
Lalo, I never owe you. No, you never owe. You never owe. I don't ever owe you. Since September, you never owe. If you see me, I never pay you up to now. No, a condition. Condition. I'm critical. The small money I be able to pay you. Now I think I'm going to pay school fees to university. Pay school fees? They never see me out. Ask me, say why? Why? My money can't go register for school. Wait. I go pay for university. And yes, sir. People, university students, they go get a laptop. I go register for school with sense. Landlord, when the laptop come, I will sell and give the money. Now October, this is when laptop. November, don't reach landlord. Immediately the laptop comes, I will sell and give money laptop. Now Chinese laptop, you must give me a landlord. You must. I say you must give me a.
Looks like our machines are playing hide and seek with us, but don't worry, we said it's live and we're up to it. Do not worry, just stay with us. We'll manage it as we can. That was MC Calvino giving you a ha-ha-ha moment on the program. But now let's move to something else. We're talking about, I don't know, Moki has chosen to talk about beauty, the woman's hair. In fact, let me allow you to introduce what we're talking about today, because I'm seeing a lot of hair extensions. Good morning, Moki.
Good morning, Pochitamba.
How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm very good, but I'm very excited to know what is happening today.
That's why we brought Mr. Tiffan James Tikum. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Tiffan James Tikum is a hair specialist and very much involved with beauty of women and so on. A businessman. From him will learn what you call human hair that's imported from Europe, how it gets to this place, the prices you pay for what makes you look beauty. So you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, and good morning for all those who are here and those also who are watching us outside.
You were born in the northwest region of Cameroon. Is it Bafut? Where are you from?
I'm from Batibo-Besi.
Okay.
Northwest Batibo-Besi.
And how did you get into this business?
Into the beauty business.
Beauty business.
Yes, actually, I come to realize that women, they always like to be looking good.
Mm-hmm.
So gradually, I find myself into this business, of which I've studied much about it, to an extent that I'm a mesh seller, a producer, and a consultant of small business and productions.
No, because this should be a very profitable business to Camerooners. Everywhere on the street you have a hairdressing salon, a hairdo salon. Is that what motivated you to join it? And how have you impacted others who want to do the same business like you?
And how long have you been
in this business?
Yes, actually I've been in this business for 18 years today. And it says that anybody who stays longer in the field become a consultant in the deal. So I come to find myself into it. I love what I was trying to do. That is the reason today I'm able to talk much about it and to encourage all those who are doing hairdressing and all those who are selling it. Because when we find out in the Bible, at 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15, I come to realize that the beauty of a woman comes from her hair. So, gradually, I see the way our mother was treating us while we were small. You look handsome, right? Sister, look beautiful. All this because you have then comb your hair. You have plait your hair. So, all of us are parents. Your child cannot go to school without you telling he or her that comb your hair. Why is it that? Because beauty lies on your hair. So, I come to seize that I should like exactly what I am doing. That is why I've been in the field for long.
A while ago, you said you produced some beauty things. I'm interested in knowing some of those beauty things that can be produced in Cameroon by persons like you.
Yes, actually, for the moment now, because of time constraint, it's gradually. Today, for instance, it will be surprise many Cameroonians.
We like to surprise people, so please feel free. Show us what you do.
You have what they call braiding, Yvonne, braid, to braid hair, popularly called as match.
Okay.
Yes, but many people use this match without even know how the white man have produced it. But those who are watching us today are privileged to see that you have the waste product of petrol.
Those grains I'm
These
seeing.
grains, yeah, you can
These
see.
grains that
Yeah.
are black and white.
Black and white. The
Okay.
white type, the white type, this is like rubber, and the black type is the waste product from petrol.
Okay.
So when you use it in the factory, they have a machine to melt it, and it will come out like
In
rope,
strands,
like
yes.
strands. It can live from here to the gate.
So that's about a kilometer.
A kilometer. Now we have to cut it at various sizes. When we cut it at various sizes, we bread it.
Okay.
When we bread it, we send it in another section in order for them to plate it. You broach, you plate, you put on a gram, because production, in order not to get lost, you have to put them in a gram. For all of them, they have the same gram. So we put them in the gram. There are those people who plate it and put a rubber band under.
No, just talk about illustrating. I see you have so
Actually,
many
you
of them.
have,
Just tell us, what is the difference between all of this you have? What is that, human hair?
This should be human hair, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's human hair.
Okay, you said this thing is from petrol waste product.
Yeah, waste product.
Why do you call it?
The synthetic type, like this one.
Okay,
It's
why
made
do you
from
call
this.
this one human hair?
They call this human hair because we are human beings, and the type of hair we have are natural. So that is the reason where you see they call
So
it.
these are coming from human beings. Is that so?
Yes.
Okay.
Real human hair
How does
is
it-
people hair.
How do you people come about having human hair that you make into this?
Do you want to take us
Because
through the
I
process?
I hear some
Because
come from
we
India,
hear all
some
kinds
come
of
from
things.
Brazil,
Yes.
and
So
so on.
tell us about the process. How do we come? You just told us how to get the synthetic one.
Yeah, the synthetic one.
Yes. Tell us now. How do you come to get a bundle
Of the
human
human
hair?
hair.
Mhm.
You know, most of these things are coming from China for today. But the biggest barbering studio in the world is found at India. And India, they have their ceremony they used to do every year in their worship. So the biggest studio, you cannot go in front of their God without shaving your hair. So people came to realize that rather to go and throw this hair, then buy all the hair and take it to the company and treat it. After they treat it very well, then process it now into hairs of this nature.
That's what it's called, human hair.
That's called human hair. But now, the difference is, there are many people who do not know the difference of human hair and Brazilian hair. I am here today to help people to understand exactly real human hair is 100% human hair. Look, there is no name written on it, but people will call it Brazilian hair, Cambodian hair, Malaysian hair, and Indian hair. But the truth is, human hair is supposed to be 100%. But because of the world we live today, people want to make much profit. They will reduce the hair from 100%, then put 50% of human hair and 50% of synthetic hair. You see? Now you have 10%, 80%, and 100%. So why am I trying to make my listeners to understand this morning is that go for a hair that somebody will tell you the truth. Because today people are untruthful. People are untruthful. They will take any stuff and tell you that it's human hair. Why did I bring all these samples? For instance, excuse me to demonstrate a bit.
Please, yes, sir.
Please, sir.
So for instance,
without naming the brand, of course.
No. When they will take the hair like this, what will they do? They remove it from the packet. Excuse me. They remove from the packet. They now tie it with a rubber as I've just done. Which name can you give it to this name now? Which name?
Ask Pochi.
I wouldn't know. I'm so.
You go to the market to ask for
know.
Brazilian hair. They'll say, Madam, this is Brazilian hair.
And even in the touch, is it different when you touch?
But when you go now, they say, this is human hair. You ask for Brazilian hair, they say, this is Brazilian hair. You ask for Cambodian hair, they say, this is Cambodian hair. I'm not saying that they are not good human hair. They are good human hair, but people are not trustworthy.
Okay.
They will take any stuff and tell it it's human hair because they want women to be
buy.
Mr. Stephen, just talk to me about, now, Pochi, excuse me, I know you women are very expensive. At times, you get to the market and tell you it's 250,000 francs just to do your hair.
What is the range?
Cost, the range of the human hair, the Brazilian hair, the synthetic hair?
The Cambodian and all
yeah,
that.
truthfully, they are
human hair for 100%. They will call it Brazilian hair, Indian hair. That's the truth. But how are we sure about it? Because I know people who have this hair, to find it around us is difficult. To have a bundle like this, for instance, for human hair, it costs about $1,000.
That's about 600,000.
600,000. So how come about you use 30,000 to go and buy Brazilian hair? So people, they are not unable to have, so they go in some stuffs who are real hair, stuffs that are good, that are human hair, they will say Brazilian hair. You see?
Now, I want to make my wife look beautiful. Put it to when you come to do a program like this one.
Yeah.
How much would it cost, actually, for her to be very beautiful, to look beautiful? Will it be the human hair, synthetic hair, Brazilian hair, natural hair?
Truthfully, I want to make everybody to understand. Every woman are beautiful. And I want to encourage women to, first of all, love themselves. Because there are some women, they have complex. They will feel that putting 300,000 safer on their hair will make them beautiful. You have to, first of all, be convinced that you are beautiful. So now, it's not the amount of money will make you beautiful. There are human hair that you can buy for 2,500 francs, please.
That is the one you've mixed. 70% of it is synthetic
good hair. It's good hair. But the advantage of this one is what? It lasts for long. And I want to tell you that synthetic hair is more expensive than human hair. You will remove 300,000 and buy a hair, you thought that it's too expensive. But if you go for synthetic hair, it's more expensive because the human hair, at the present moment, it becomes expensive, but at long term, it becomes very cheap. But synthetic hair is immediately, after 2 weeks, you remove and throw. If you check the time, you come to realize that synthetic hair is more expensive than human hair. So now, in order to make your wife beautiful, to come to your question, there are women who like crazy hair. With 5,000 francs, 10,000 francs, 6,000 francs, you will still, your wife can be beautiful. All women can be beautiful. If there are women that don't have enough time to go for a beautiful salon, what do? They just put the one we call crazy hair. You just get on the morning, you just shake and you go your way. Or, without no time, their peruke, the cap. These are cap. You see. Women don't have time. Just put it on. You just put it on. You go your way.
And how much would that one cost?
This one is like,
it the same price?
Is it human hair?
This is human hair. This is human hair. This one is 70,000 so far.
And then how much is the first one, the synthetic hair you've told
This
us?
synthetic hair is 2,500 francs.
But of course, it will not last.
With two, the woman will be beautiful. But there's advantage and disadvantage. You will, after 2 weeks, have to remove it and throw. And then, human hair, you use it several times.
Now, before we start the parting company, I see some women wearing really big products, head load. Some people will want to call it in quote in the head. Has it got any health-related issues? Are they protecting something on their what, or is just a way of looking beautiful?
Very nice. It's their way to look beautiful. They're not protecting anything, at best of my knowledge.
Let me ask you about treatment, maintenance, and keeping this. Because when you buy human hair, one of the advantages you just said is that it lasts for long. How do you keep it looking?
Very nice question.
Yes.
Very nice indeed. I started explaining about if you buy something without the packet, you will not know what you are buying. Like all the stuffs. I remove them from a packet as you just see of recent. It's a nice question. It's better to go for the hair you see in the packet.
Okay.
You can, behind it,
they give instructions.
Instruction, exactly. It is written behind it. So real product have the introduction and the instruction how to maintain and how to use it. If you go for a hair without all these things, how will you maintain it? So that is the reason I am encouraging everybody that do hair salon or who say, make sure you tell the truth to your customer. Because treating the hair is all written behind here. How to maintain your hair to last for long. So it's written behind of the packet. But today, there's one other thing that I want to make our listener to listen this morning.
Yeah, those who are watching us.
Yeah, those who are listening, watching us. There are good hair today. Like I advise people to go in for the Peruvian hair. The Peruvian hair is more better than those names people just call. Like before we have Noble, the product was good. We have Remy hair, it was good. We have chocolate that is popular called somewhere chocolate. But what did the company do? After the first product, it is good. The second product or the third product, when the demand is high, what did they do? They now reduce the quality of the product. It will not be as the same.
Just when we were growing, we knew the hairdos like Follow Me, Bacala, and people were looking beautiful in those things. Why are people? Why is this raw? The things that are imported, we don't even know the health consequences of it.
It's true. No, we Africans, we have short hair. That's our problem.
So we want to look like whites?
We want to look like white people. Because when you mention about those things, they were all natural, right?
Natural.
Well, they were natural and they were beautiful. They have to leave our culture to start to put the white man long hair. You see? Because there are people who do all type of things in order to have that Brazilian hair, which is not good. They do funny things.
Are you a rich man? Just the way you've explained and what you're doing, are you earning a living?
He looks like it's a bustling business. So, are you a rich man?
I wish to grow very strong. Yeah, I wish to grow very strong because everything is passion and determination.
Mr. Tifang James Tikom, hair beauty specialist, thank you so much for coming on Hello Cameroon. It was a nice chat we had with you there, and I hope that you at home, you learned one thing or two about human hair. And Muki, thank you for bringing him. I'll be looking forward to another chat with you on Thursday. But right now, it's a moment for us to take advertisement.
Joyeux anniversaire à X-Maléa, c'est 10 ans, c'est pas 10 ans, 10 ans.
Here comes the X-Malia 2017 Campus Tour, a platform for the promotion of local talents. 8 pop shows in university towns of Cameroon, Chang, Boya, Bamenda, Marwa, Garoua, Ngaoundéré, Douala, Yaoundé 1 and 2. Good moments of communion with millions of fans, advertisers, sponsors. This is a unique opportunity to reach your target audience. Contact the CRTV Marketing and Communication Agency CMCA today for more information.
La force syrienne est de retour et va vous en mettre plein les yeux à la maison du parti du Mfoudi à Yaoundé. Du 10 avril au 10 mai, faites le plein avec les merveilles syriennes. Salon de qualité, tapis, lustres en plaqué or, rideaux haut de gamme, matelas médical, accessoires pour ameublement, robes de mariage, vêtements et chaussures pour hommes, femmes et enfants. Parfum, maquillage, bijoux, on n'oublie pas la confection gratuite de vos rideaux. Tous les jours de 10h à 19h. La déco orientale plus ultra à la foire syrienne. Tous les jours du 10 avril au 10 mai.
Madame, Monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue aux 8h sur la CIA TV. Dans le cadre de la 45e édition de la fête nationale, le ministre de la Jeunesse et de l'Éducation civique, Mounouna Foutou, accompagné des autres membres du gouvernement impliqués dans cette activité, supervise aujourd'hui dans les arrondissements de la ville de Yaoundé les répétitions sectorielles des établissements de l'éducation de base, de l'enseignement secondaire, de l'enseignement extrascolaire et de la formation professionnelle. Renforcement des capacités sur l'approche par les compétences, les travaux de l'atelier d'échange et de renforcement de ces capacités de la chaîne pédagogique sur l'approche par les compétences s'ouvrent aujourd'hui au lycée général Leclerc de Yaoundé. Ces assises visent à améliorer la mise en œuvre des nouveaux programmes conçus suivant l'approche par les compétences. Le président de la Commission de l'Union africaine au Cameroun pour soutenir le pays dans la guerre contre Boko Haram. Le président, pendant son séjour, le Tchadien Moussa Faki Mahamad, va échanger avec les autorités camerounaises sur les réformes de l'Union africaine qui prévoient, entre autres, la limitation des échanges d'intervention de l'organisation, une meilleure division du travail et un financement efficace des activités par les États membres. Plus de précisions, c'est avec Séverin Aligambili.
Intervient au lendemain de la réunion tenue à Kigali, au Rwanda, sur la mise en œuvre de la réforme de l'organisation panafricaine pour la rendre plus performante et crédible. À l'arrivée à l'aéroport international Yaoundé-Simalène, Moussa Faki Mahamat a été accueilli par le ministre des Relations extérieures, le jeune Belambela. Son agenda assez étoffé prévoit des échanges avec les autorités camerounaises sur la lutte contre Boko Haram, le soutien de l'Union africaine aux efforts que déploient les forces de défense et de sécurité appuyées par des pays frères comme le Tchad. Il y aura bien évidemment la réforme de l'institution panafricaine créée en 2002 pour la rendre moins bureaucratique et moins dépendante des financements extérieurs.
Je viens de Kigali, où s'est tenue hier une retraite sous la houlette du président Paul Kagame, qui a été chargé par ses pairs de ce dossier de réforme. Et nous sommes en train d'examiner les modalités pratiques de cet ensemble de réformes. La plus importante, c'est celle du financement de l'Union.
Les réformes envisagées par le président rwandais et tout le panel intéressé par ces questions portent sur la diminution des domaines d'intervention de l'Union. On souhaite par exemple que la priorité soit accordée aux affaires politiques de portée continentale, aux questions de paix et de sécurité, à l'intégration économique et au rayonnement de l'institution à l'échelle internationale. On envisage aussi une meilleure division du travail entre l'Union africaine et les communautés régionales comme la CEMAC ou la CEDEAO. Bien plus, on voudrait offrir une souveraineté financière et politique à l'Union en réduisant les dépendances du budget vis-à-vis des donateurs étrangers. Dans cette perspective, le principe d'une taxe de 0,2% sur certaines importations a été adopté. C'est ce qu'on appelle la taxe Kaberuka, du nom de l'ancien président de la Banque africaine de développement, à l'origine de cette proposition.
Un atelier de sensibilisation et de formation à la promotion du partenariat public-privé en Afrique s'est ouvert hier ici même à Yaoundé. La direction régionale de la Banque africaine pour le développement, section Afrique centrale, entend ainsi renforcer l'expertise locale dans ce domaine. Les détails, c'est avec Olivier Kingemouli.
Ils sont venus des 6 pays de la sous-région à la rencontre du tout nouveau directeur général régional de la BAD qui veut immédiatement implémenter une vision importante de la banque pour le développement des infrastructures. C'est la mobilisation des ressources privées à travers la promotion des PPP, partenariats public-privé.
Il se trouve que dans nos pays, dans le passé, les projets d'infrastructures qui étaient souvent inscrits dans les budgets d'investissement étaient couverts par les ressources publiques. Et il a fallu beaucoup de temps pour comprendre que le déficit infrastructurel, quelle que soit la capacité financière des pays, il était possible de les couvrir sans faire recours au financement privé qui pourrait aussi apporter une expertise pour la mise en œuvre et la réalisation des projets.
Le présent séminaire de formation va donc renforcer les capacités des pays de la région en les dotant des fondations juridiques, techniques et financières nécessaires à l'utilisation des PPP. Ici, le Cameroun et le Gabon sont notamment présentés comme des exemples.
Notre pays a identifié et mis en œuvre une quinzaine de projets dont les contrats ont été signés et qui s'exécutent en ce moment d'un montant global d'environ 450 milliards de francs CFA.
Ce n'est peut-être pas encore suffisant au regard des ambitions de développement du pays, mais une appropriation plus profonde de ce modèle est alors souhaitée avec une volonté de valoriser davantage le secteur privé dans la dynamique des partenariats publics-privés.
Examen officiel 2017, le ministre des Enseignements secondaires évalue le processus dans le sud-ouest. Jean-Ernest Masséna-Galais-Bibé apprécie avec les acteurs de terrain les préparatifs de ces examens. Des précisions dans cette correspondance de Alain Mbenga de CATV Sud-Ouest.
Tous les responsables nationaux et régionaux en charge des examens ont répondu à l'appel, à l'instar du directeur de l'Office du baccalauréat et du registrar du General Certificate of Education Board. La place prépondérante de l'éducation dans la vie de la nation va sans démonstration. Les rapports sur l'état des préparatifs de la session échéante donnent de réels motifs de fierté.
La raison d'être de ma présence ici dans la région du Sud-Ouest est de nous assurer que les mesures et toutes les dispositions ont été prises pour un déroulement harmonieux des examens dans cette région, comme dans la plupart des villes de notre pays. Nous avons au sortir d'ici effectué des descentes sur le terrain et eu des séances de travail avec les principaux acteurs de la chaîne pédagogique et des responsables en charge de l'administration de la sécurité dans la région du Sud-Ouest.
Une visite de quelques centres en plein examen blanc a été effectuée, question de vérifier et d'apprécier les mécanismes installés pour un déroulement sans anicroche. Les explications des chefs d'établissement ont permis aux patrons des enseignements secondaires de prendre la pleine mesure des défis, surtout par les temps qui courent. Le message dès lors se veut incisif et incitatif.
C'est l'occasion pour moi d'appeler au sens élevé de patriotisme et de responsabilité de toutes les personnes en charge du suivi des examens pour que nous donnions la possibilité à nos enfants de leur donner la garantie que leur futur est assuré par l'éducation, par l'école.
Des rencontres informelles ont par ailleurs apaisé certaines tensions. Bien au-delà de l'essentiel, les examens officiels qui débutent bientôt dans notre région sont promis à un bel horizon.
Nous allons à l'étranger, plus précisément en France. Pas de répit pour Emmanuel Macron. À peine élu, il a déjà les yeux rivés vers les législatives prévues au mois de juin prochain. Son investiture, il faudra nommer un Premier ministre et un gouvernement. Et déjà hier, comme de tradition, Emmanuel Macron et François Hollande, son prédécesseur, ont ensemble commémoré l'amnistie. C'était hier, 8 mai. Madame, Monsieur, c'est ici que prend fin le 8 heures de ce mardi matin. Merci de l'avoir suivi. Bonne journée à tous. Bonne journée également à vous.
Thank you very much, Marie-Laurence K. And this is the time when we give you our freestyle on Hello Cameroon. But before I go, Marie-Laurence, we have a sugar cane, canne à sucre, orange, banane.
Je sais quoi choisir.
Banane.
Merci.
Okay. Have a beautiful day and see you on Thursday.
Merci.
Okay. Well, this is a couple like you've never seen before. They had all the gadgets to do a wonderful show so that their wedding should be a party like never seen before. So please, we got a glimpse, we seized it, and this is what we have for freestyle.
Showstopper, flow topper, head knocker, beat scholar, tail dropper, do my thing, motherfucker. Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, Blue Medina, always beaming, rag top, chrome pipes, blue lights, out of sight, long weed, sold in, fed it, sold in, make that money, throw it in, booty bouncing down your head. Everybody here, get your best, misdemeanor says. Well, my name is Miss McGee. For all who disagree, it really doesn't matter. The ring is on me. We're gonna make you lose control and let it go, for you know you're gonna hit the flow. Yeah. I rock to the beat till I'm high. I walk in the club, it's fire. Get it crunk and wired. Wave your hands straight out. If you smoke and fired up, bring the roof down and holler. If you tipsy, stand up. DJ turn it louder. Take somebody by the waist and throw it in your face like hypnotic, robotic. This here will rock your bodies. Take somebody by the waist and throw it in your face like systematic, ecstatic. This hit be automatic. Everybody here get it out of control. Misdemeanor says.
If you have a Mr. and a Mrs. like that, you know the party is hot. In fact, before you get up to join them on the dance floor, you want to check your shoes, check your dress, check your temperature to be to be sure that you're up to the task. That's how I like it on Hello Cameroon. We'll give you a foretaste of what it looks like, and then you go out and grab it for yourself. Now, if you're about to step out of your home, it's a little after 8 o'clock, and it's probably the time when some of you hit the roads to go to work. If you are thinking of stepping out, we want to tell you it's been raining heavily. The type you will see, it's raining cats and dogs. It's raining heavily in the city of Yaoundé. If you're moving into this town or you're about to step out of your home and you're in Yaoundé, please be ready for cold and be ready for wetness. So get ready for it. But why am I talking about Yaoundé when I can give you an aperçu of the whole nation? This is your weather forecast on Hello Cameroon. And if you're worried about losing us on TV because you can't carry your TV set as you step out of the home, please, you can carry your radio set. You can even have it on your mobile telephone. You can even have it on in your car, right? So hook up to our colleagues, our friends, our own persons who are on the national station, 88.8. That's the right frequency. And you continue listening to the CRTV as we wake you up and get you on the right foot for the day. In a short while, we'll be learning how to make something really sweet, something really delicious, a banana cake with your cakes. But before I will go there though, if you started the day with us, you will know we are having a reggae week that started today and will finish on Thursday. Today is a Silver Day. We're remembering the artist, the man who is called Silver and who left us not so long ago. But on Thursday, we will be remembering what many people see as, who many people call the father of reggae, Bob Marley himself. He died on an 11th of May. And we are not the only persons who are remembering Bob Marley. I want to say there's going to be a National Reggae Day for him, which will be on a Saturday, the 13th of May, this weekend in Yaoundé. There's actually a host of reggae persons who will be coming together to remember who the person they recognize as their father in music. I want to name some of them. You have Naya, you have Yomo, you have Ja Mike, you have Ninja, and you have Doreen La Rasta. There are many more, but on Thursday on this program, you have some of them. They'll actually be doing covers for some of Bob Marley's songs. We're going to have some kind of a mini orchestra in honor of Bob Marley. So hook up with us on Thursday. You have fun. But now let's go to that banana cake. Yolanda Nupo is standing by to tell us step by step how to make a banana cake.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for making it a day with us today. You're welcome to my kitchen. I'm Ms. Nupo Yolanda, and today we'll be making a banana cake. We'll be using 3 eggs, a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, a cup and a half of oil, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 2 cups of mashed bananas, 3 cups of flour. In a bowl, we'll measure out 2 cups of mashed bananas. I use conventional measuring cups, please. We use overripe bananas for this process because they mash easily. When doing the mashing, and they taste better. This, we'll add our sugar, our salt, our nutmeg, and we'll stir. We're going to add the eggs. And we'll stir. To this, we'll add our bicarbonate. 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate. And for this one, you stir it in carefully so that you don't develop any lumps. You notice there are no lumps formed. And you stir this into your mixture. And you add your cup and a half of oil. To this, we'll add our flour slowly in 2 batches. Now, the reason why we use bicarbonate is so that it helps in dissolving our bananas. So when you cut your cake, you don't find chunks of bananas in it. Any bananas, any pieces of banana. The cake will be smooth, light, and very, very fluffy. And you always try to use your mixing spoon to touch all corners of your bowl to be sure you're mixing all the flour, and you scrape at the base too. Now, since bicarbonate acts very fast, you prepare your tins beforehand. So I made my tins before, like I had shown you before, with a brush, some butter, some margarine, and then I floured it and I heat the tin to take off the excess flour. So our oven is already hot. We had lit our oven before we started doing this. So our oven is already warm enough. You use a moderately hot oven to bake this. So our cake is done. You just put it out into your tins. And you don't overfill. Since the cake will rise. So place these in the oven. And we'll allow to bake for 30 to 45 minutes. If you can time yourself so that at some point you turn down the heat so that it gets cooked. See you when our cake is ready. So our cake is out of the oven. It's been there for 40 minutes. It's ready. And like I said, the skewer put in the center comes out clean. And as you can see, it's really spongy and no chunks of banana visible. So you can give these to children. It's very good for children, and it's a rich cake. It's a rich fruit cake. For children who don't like eating bananas, they can take a banana alternative. You can give them a nice banana cake. For these and more, check out Yo Cakes on Facebook. Be blessed and have a blessed day. Bye.
Yummy. It looks really, really yummy, Yolanda. Thank you so much for being there and for showing us some of the secrets in your kitchen. Mercy Ashley is right here, and we're about to talk the number of the day. But Mercy, did you enjoy the cake, the banana cake?
Yeah, I was watching. I wish I could get a piece.
Don't worry, next time we'll call her around to bring us, we're tired of just watching from far away. Bring us pieces at times.
Exactly.
But banana cake is always very, very tasty, very sweet, but also very healthy because it's from the fruit. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about used vehicles in Cameroon.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, my attention was just caught by some statistics I read on the internet, which I'd like to share with you this morning and our televiewers. One of the questions we should be asking ourselves, especially in developing countries, there's a highly unprecedented pace of sale of cars. I'm talking about second-hand vehicles being sold from the Western world to Africa, when I talk about developing countries, not only Africa, in countries like Mexico, poor countries where people cannot afford a car that is coming directly from the factory. The manufacturer. So if you are in Cameroon for a very long time, you certainly observe that we have cars that are sometimes 20
you don't
years
even need
old.
to be in Cameroon for 2 days to know. Immediately you come out of the airport,
You see a lot
the
of
first
those
5 cars, you will know something is happening.
Yeah, and it's important, Pochi, to also say that these cars are doing, in as much as we are talking about poverty pushes us to buy such cars, we are looking at things like the environment, what it does to the environment. I think there are lots of pollutants that these cars emit into the environment, which is pretty dangerous for your health, for you and I. But how much of control are we doing in that regard? And is it easy to control in Africa where people cannot afford brand new cars?
You're talking about affording, and I'm checking how expensive it is to keep maintaining an old car.
And besides the fact that we buy old cars, when those cars get here, imagine you buying a car that has been used probably in Europe for 6-8 years, but when it gets here, it looks like a new car because of the maintenance and all that. Okay, the car is in Cameroon. Maybe you're going to use it for another 6 years before you think of dumping it. And if you even find someone to sell, you're going to sell the car again. So imagine for how long that car has been in the system before you can actually dump it. In fact, when we look at Cameroon, we can look at different categories. Take taxis, for instance. In some countries, you don't use any kind of car to do that kind of business.
No. In some cities, you wouldn't. In Paris, you wouldn't ride with certain cars. You get fined.
Sure.
Because of the emissions that your car is, is involving. So maybe we should. But I kind of think, though, that's very expensive debate for us in Cameroon at this point. Because when you begin talking about emissions and cars, people are like, we just want to, first of all, get good cars.
But these are the realities, Pochi. Interestingly, these cars are in our own eyes pretty good for us, and this is what we can afford, And besides cars, we have automobiles like bikes that have come to make the problem
reduce the
even
pressure
more,
of transportation on cars.
Yeah. We need them, no doubt, because I was reading an article on the internet which I don't know who was writing the article, but he did mention that it is better to have an old car in terms of maintenance. You get the parts easily, but when you buy a new car, you're not sure that in Cameroon you can afford all the parts if you have a problem.
And that's a big problem,
that's
because
also
you want to be able to maintain a car that you buy.
And we have more cars than we have roads. That's another problem in Cameroon. So the debate is something that we can go on and on, but it's interesting to know that in the last 2 decades we've had more than 120 million cars being imported into a less developed world, which is a call for concern. I read an article, in the same article where it was something like, is Europe and the rest of the Western world exporting second-hand cars that is exporting, increasing our poverty rate. Poverty in the mind. Poverty in the sense that we don't know the dangers of all. Of
in
what
economics, there is a concept called dumping.
Yeah.
Let's not enough said on the matter.
I'm not an expert in environmental issues, but these are the realities we must
indeed.
talk about.
Mercy, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Would you like something fresh for the morning? I look at you and I feel like giving you some.
Carrots.
Yes, we have carrots.
That's what I need.
Yay. Have a beautiful day.
Thanks.
And while we were talking, a gentleman settled here and he's having a heart. He's here for...
With or without your permission?
You know, we're doing this among GMC, so it's okay. He does as he likes. But before I talk to Bill Titi, I want to say a special hello to a lady. She's called Bobwin Fanny Mariama. A special greetings coming from her husband. He sent a message that we should send a big hug to you, and we also do that on Hello Cameroon. We help couples to smile to one another more. I don't know what the husband did wrong that he's trying to compensate now, but Bobwin Fanny Mariama, you have special greetings from Bobwin Carl, and we are transmitting through Hello Cameroon. Do you have special greetings for somebody? Bill Titi, good morning.
Should I take that for a special greeting?
Okay, you want to send special greetings to me or to Mercy, actually?
No, special greetings to you guys.
Okay, and to... is it a batch thing? Is it a batch thing between the two of you?
It's a batch thing between all of us. It's a triangle. It's a triangle for sure.
All right.
A triangle that's just at the center.
Okay. The panabo is getting too complicated. Let's just do jobs.
Let's do jobs, okay? Good morning. We have the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric Foundation. That's the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric Aid Foundation in Yaoundé that's recruiting a community engagement officer. You are going to work with partners and the health facilitators in various communities, and of course the communities themselves, in enhancing their capacities in HIV and AIDS care, prevention, and all what it has to do as far as the fight against HIV and AIDS is concerned. Here they say you must have a first degree in either anthropology, social science domain, in nursing, or in a related science field. If you have a master's degree in public health, you stand a better chance. But with a first degree, you can still pick up the job. You need to have had 3 years of work experience in a health discipline in any other organization in the country. It could be private or public organization. The documents.
I'm getting indication that we need to take a moment to take advertisement,
No
and
problem,
it's the
okay.
kind of thing that
it's okay. It's imperative.
we don't talk further.
It's
Please,
imperative.
a moment of advertisement, and we'll continue with BTT.
Joyeux anniversaire à X Maléa, c'est 10 ans, c'est pas 10 ans, 10 ans.
Voici le X-Malea Campus Tour 2017, une plateforme de mise en valeur des talents locaux. 8 spectacles populaires dans les villes universitaires du Cameroun. Tchang, Poya, Pamenda, Maroua, Garoua, Ngaoundéré, Douala, Yaoundé 1 et 2. Une belle communion avec les millions de fans. Annonceurs, mécènes, sponsors, voici l'occasion idéale pour toucher vos cibles. Contactez la CRTV Marketing and Communication Agency CMCA pour plus d'informations.
Right in the heart of X-Malea.
Ensemble, avec des ingrédients frais, une bonne sauce faite maison. Les spaghettis et macaronis Broly, fabriqués à partir du meilleur blé dur, plein de nutriments et fibres pour une meilleure digestion. Les pâtes Broly sont prêtes en moins de 7 minutes et ne collent pas. Choisissez les pâtes Broly, les pâtes fines et délicieuses qui ne collent pas.
Broly, la passion de bien nourrir.
Our machine was about letting us down in the middle of X-Malea, but then it changed its mind. Thank you for changing your mind and giving it to us fully. Publicity, advertisement, they pay our bills, you know, so we don't joke with them. Now that that's sorted, let's go back to the jobs. I know some of you you're already there with your pen and paper, and Bill Titi was right in the middle of something interesting.
That was the first job, and like Pochi says, you need to have your pen and paper because you'll not be having the contacts on the screen. For this morning, we're sorry about that. So for the first job that's coming from the Elizabeth Glaser Foundation, that's a Pediatric Aid Foundation. We're talking about a community mobilizer who must work with local populations in the fight against HIV and AIDS. You need to have a first degree in anthropology, in sociology, in public health, in nursing. But if you have a master's degree, you stand a better chance. You must have at least 3 years of work experience. You're sending just your curriculum vitae to this email address, Cameroon Recruitment at PED-AIDS. PED is P-E-D. AIDS, you put that together. So Cameroon Recruitment at pedaids.org. Cameroon Recruitment in one word at pedaids.org. That's the email contact which you send your curriculum vitae. On the subject, the mail subject, you put Community Engagement Officer. Community Engagement Officer, that's what goes for that. Deadline is this, that's the latest date for applications, is the 15th of this month. Now, the U.S. Embassy in Yaoundé needs a utility assistant in Yaoundé. You are going to be working with some of their staff who are, tenants in some apartments. So you're going to work with landlords and tenants, knowing situations of housings, and of course, when they talk of utilities, you must make sure if there is a water problem, you just like somebody who connects to the house manager. It's not like, you're going to be living there, but you have just to facilitate the work of of housing. So here you just need to have your GC advanced levels or the baccalaureate. If you have the GC advanced level certificate or the baccalaureate, then you stand a better chance. If you have experience working in any organization or institution, you must show proof of that. And they insist that you must be bilingual. You must be able to speak both English and French. Now, to have details on the job, you may just go to your search engine and type cm.usembassy.gov, cm.usembassy.gov. When you click, or if you want to be more precise, you can put jobs. You see the vacancy come up and all the details that you need. But if you don't want to go through that stress, if the information I've given you is enough for you to apply, you just need to put together your CV and any other supporting documents that you send to this email address. This is Yaoundé applicants at state. Yaoundé is YDE. Yaoundé applicants at state.gov. Yaoundé is YDE, applicants with an S at the end, compact at state.gov. Still, the U.S. Embassy is announcing a vacancy for OT Program Assistant. That's Office of Transmission Initiative Program Assistant. Here, you must work in the documentation, programming, and monitoring and evaluation domain with this institution. The job was still loading, and for those who may want to apply for the vacancy, you need to have at least a university degree in any domain, just a university degree in any domain. And to apply, you send your CV with references, a curriculum vitae with references, and a signed cover letter, signed application letter to the email address I'm going to give you. It's AC, that's personnel at usaid.gov. AC, they put personnel in one word, at usaid, aid is AID, usaid.gov. Personnel at usaid.gov. That's the email contact. This one is coming for Phoenix, that's looking for hostesses, those to work with their VIP cars and even in their different bus stop stations. Hostesses, you must be at least 1.65 meters tall, and it must be perfectly bilingual. If you want to apply in Yaoundé, just go to Phoenix agency in Van and drop your application, handwritten application, curriculum vitae, and copy of your academic or school certificate. That does it for the opportunities. So this morning, you get updates.
We're hoping that you come back to testify. Of course, I'm helping you.
That's why I'm laughing.
We're hoping that you come back and testify, and we'll be sitting right here to capture your story and tell it to the world. Bill Titi, reassure me, because people are like, why is Pochi always giving Titi banana? This is your special command now.
That's my special command.
I'm being...
And if people should know that there are other people behind this, my special command.
I'm being a very good friend to Bill Titi. That's why I give you 1.
Yes.
I give you 2. I won't give you 3 because there's going to be a fight.
No, there will not.
There's going
Why
to
don't you just make the bananas in the Holy Trinity form? God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
You see people who perverse religion.
No,
how do you...
that's not perversing religion. I just said that's a technique to get what you want.
Well, I want to take you to something you know. You've been to the Adamawa. You've worked in the Adamawa.
Yeah.
You have family in the Adamawa.
Yeah.
And do you know the Nyem Nyem Festival?
Yeah, the Nyem Nyem Festival is for the people of the Faro and Deo. It's one of, I must say, amongst the annual festivals we have in Cameroon, the Nyem Nyem Festival stands out to be one of the most interesting and important because it brings tourists from all over, from Africa, Europe, and America. It retraces the history of the Nyem Nyem people. If you just read colonization in the books, you witness the Nyem, you see how these people depict the realities of that period. You'll be like you are living. It's just like when you watch the slave trade village in Bimbia during the first act. That's the same picture that the Nyem Nyem Festival gives you. But one thing that's interesting is that they will show you a cave where the Nyem Nyem people used to hide from the German invaders. And from there, when they fired, the Germans will even climb up, they will not see them. They were invisible.
Beauty, please, can you introduce that report for us by Ellis YG Bamia? Let me just watch.
Okay, listeners, we're now taking you to the Faro and Dio division in the Adamawa region, particularly in Galim Tinière, where we are taking you to this festival called the Nyem Nyem Festival. It's a festival that's mouth-watering. It retraces the history of the Nyem Nyem people and puts a platform of what life used to be before and what the place has become today. You're going to get interesting images, interesting sounds, and more entertainment as you watch this report from
Ellis YG.
Ellis YG in CRTV Adamawa.
This is the Nyem Nyem cultural dance, one of the most outstanding cultural activities performed during the Nyem Nyem Cultural Festival. The Nyem Nyem clan is found in Galim Tinière subdivision, Faro and Deo division in the Adamawa region of Cameroon. The Nyem Nyem Cultural Festival takes place yearly, and it is a moment when the people celebrate victory and success.
C'est une réjouissance du peuple Nyem Nyem. Une réjouissance du peuple Nyem Nyem qui fête leur invincibilité contre le...
It is the celebration of the Nyem Nyem people. They are celebrating their invincibility against the Germans and neighboring villages. They decided to destroy the Galim chieftaincy so that only that of Tibati will exist. They progressed till Yoko and tried all they could, but to no avail.
Ici, ils se sont repliés pour venir nous anéantir. Ils ont tout fait. Ils ont fait appel aux Allemands et avec eux, ils n'ont pas eu une suite favorable.
According to natives from this area, after 9 years of fierce battle against the Germans, they emerged undefeated due to the topography and the help from their ancestors. They say during the war, the enemy tried starving them to death by secretly destroying their farms and foodstuffs. However, other Nyem Nyem clans in Mayosanari and Buldoa had mastered some techniques of hiding food, which they always supplied to the Nyem Nyem warriors.
Les gens qui essaient de dénoncer la trahison, et dès qu'on les prend, on venait les exécuter.
Those who were identified as traitors were executed here. You can see traces of blood. They were pushed from this hill alive, but since some used to survive, we started wounding them before pushing them down.
Condamné qui a pris un dunguro, ils sont partis avec. Et à partir de ce moment, on blesse d'abord avant de balancer.
Each year, therefore, the Nyem Nyem people gather to celebrate victory and expose their history and cultural values to the entire world. The latest celebration of the festival saw the presence of the governor of the Adamawa region, Kildadi Tageke Buka, who alongside several individuals who came from far and near have the opportunity to visit ancestral areas which they won't forget so soon.
I am particularly at ease because I've seen the diverse culture of Yem people. You see, we have discovered some secular targets used by the Yem people to conquer their environment and to oppose other aggressors like Germans and other people who wanted to stop them in their evolution. So I think this day is a very, very important day, and this goes to show that we are attached to our culture.
I came here the first time in March of 2013 with my family, my wife and my 2 children. Now we have a third child, and the people have been so welcoming to us. We really love living here. My wife, in fact, each time I travel, she doesn't even want to leave the village. She just wants to stay here with the people because they're so kind.
Apart from the guerrilla, victory and fantasia dances performed during the festival, visitors get to see the site where traitors during the war were executed, notably Mount Jim, some 170 kilometers of altitude, and the famous cave which the people say favored their victory against the Germans. This cave is said to have mystical powers which do not permit anyone with evil intentions to go through. It equally harbors a spring which locals believe has healing powers. As such, every tourist visiting the area drinks the liquid to have permanent solutions to their problems. All efforts are thus put in place to continue with the successful organization of the next Nyem Nyem Cultural Festival.
And of course, we'll be there to bring you the pictures and the sounds. Thank you so much, Eli Wanji, for giving us an insight into that festival. And I also want to thank Bill Titi for giving us such a mouth-watering introduction into a presentation of that paper. Cameroon is a country of plenty. Even in cultural events, we are a country of plenty. And on Hello Cameroon, we are happy each moment to have the chance to bring you some of the things that define us as Cameroonians in our different multicultural backgrounds. Now I'm inviting you to stay with me, even though I'll be leaving this studio in the next quarter of an hour. But this is a song by TZ Panchak. It simply says, stay with me, and that's what I feel like telling you. Please stay with me. Don't move. Don't go anywhere.
Nation, baby. Stay with me. Stay with me. Oh. No leave me, no leave me.
I love this beat, it's crazy.
One
It's
Chaco, under it, rainy weather. Call me, I go come more than little. On the sun, rainy weather. Call me, I go run more than little. Anything for you. All I see is you, oh. See them lock out, say our love no go stay. Baby, now them go fail. Cause baby, you don't know. Say you there in my mind. I guess you never know. They are deeper play for you. See baby, you don't know. Say I truly love you. I'm not teasing you. I go deep, follow you. So baby, stay with me, oh. Mommy, stay with me, oh. Cause you the boss, my baby. See, there's nothing wrong in trying. My cherry cocoa, I'm begging you. Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong in trying. Yeah, my cherry cocoa, I'm begging you. Yeah, girl, I see fire in your eyes. Try, and then I start to realize, so say that you are blessing in disguise. You know what I'm searching. Cause baby, you don't know. Say you did my mind. I guess you never know. Say I deep I play for you. See baby, you don't know. Say I truly love you. I'm not teasing you. I go deep, follow you. So baby, stay with me, oh. Mommy, stay with me, oh. Stay with me, oh. Cause you the boss, my baby. See, there's nothing wrong in trying. My cherry cocoa, I'm begging, no. Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong in trying. Yeah, my cherry cocoa, I'm begging, no. See, stay with me, oh. Yeah, no leave me, oh, no leave me, oh. Yeah, stay with me, oh. I love this name, it's crazy. Yes, baby, you don't know. Say you did my mind. I guess you never know. Say I deep I play for you. See, baby, you don't know. Say I truly love you. I'm not teasing you. I go to follow you. So, baby, stay with me, oh. Mommy, stay with me, oh. Cause you the boss, my baby. See, there's nothing wrong in trying. My cherry cocoa, I'm begging you. Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong in trying. Yeah, my cherry cocoa, I'm begging you.
When it's got a Mr. Adrenaline touch, then it just shoots, right? I need a thermometer. Where is Myra? Angel Rose, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I'm calming down and settling down from that moment of ha ha ha. But you were dancing too, you know. It wasn't a Pucci affair.
Yes, I was, because he said...
It's a beautiful song, isn't it?
Yes, it's a beautiful song. And he said some words that caught my attention. You should stay with us, the CRTV, under any weather. Because this morning it was rainy, and you should follow us.
follow us all the time, you know. Follow us at 11 o'clock. We'll be doing Follow Me, you know.
Yes.
But
with
then,
the girls.
But then there's a lot more coming. It's not only Follow Me, but we just want you to keep following us, you know, like the sheep and the shepherd.
Yeah.
Tell us what's more that's coming up on the CRTV.
CRTV has got plenty as usual. It has so much to offer to the public and to the world at large. At 10 a.m. we're talking about health, and this time we are dealing with vaccination, how important it is to us, to newborn babies. You know, when a child is born, there's that first vaccine he or she always receive. It's very important, and that's what Santé Plus is talking about today. And then at 10:30 a.m. we are on Prismic, and this time Prismic is talking about ginger, the ginger plant. Its medicinal aspects, its health benefits as well, because this is a period where it's always raining and we suffer from dry cough, common cold, and ginger helps to in order to remedy that. And then at 11 a.m. we are following the girls on Follow Me.
The beautiful ladies who keep the world following them at 11 o'clock on the CRT.
And yes, of course. And this time I'm not unveiling or unraveling what the topic they'll be talking about today. Just follow. I'm keeping it as a surprise. Yesterday they were talking about weight, watching your weight, and how you should be comfortable in your skin no matter the size you have. Today you just want to follow those girls and find out what they'll be talking about. If not, you should log on to Follow Me on Facebook. That's Follow Me CRTV. And you can give your comments, drop your comments there. Then at 12:30, Charles Ebune, I said on Saturday he wasn't going diplomatic this time. It's a rebroadcast. I'm just reminding you, in case you missed that, Charles Ebune has Ramsey Noir on the hot seat.
That needs a rebroadcast.
Yes, it's a rebroadcast. So if you missed that out, he's talking about Nigerian cinema, what it offers to the world and to the population of Nigeria. And not forgetting, Ramsey Noir was the patron, and is the patron rather, of Kamif, the just ended Kamif by Agbo Gilbert, who is the CEO. And then at 2 p.m., of course, is still the rebroadcast of our culture, our heritage. But this time, I'm not talking about it. Yesterday was a recording of our culture, our heritage. I just want to remind our viewers that they are done with the session of Festac, and now they are coming back to the studio. They had people from the Sudano-Sahelian part of the country yesterday, so you get that on Saturday. But if you want to participate on the program, you can just drop your application at door 502 of the CRTV Production Center, or you can follow them on Facebook as well, Our Culture, Our Heritage, CRTV.
That's a program done by a set that you would name them as Dorothy Sundikum as the director,
of course,
and
the
Kabe
mother
Enochong as the presenter of the program.
Yes, I won't forget that. And then at 6:30 p.m. we are getting into our celebrating our National Day. That's on Saturday.
Yeah,
the
moving
20th.
towards 20th of May.
Yes, towards 20th of May, and we are bringing some icons that marked certain events of this country, that made the history of Cameroon, that made it what it is today. And today at 6:30 p.m., that's Foncha, the father of reunification. We are talking about that. You don't want to miss that out. And then, of course, and end it the day with Say Politique at 9 p.m. And Say Politique, France has a new president. So it's something political.
It's definitely going to be on that.
Yes, a new president and a new first lady. So you want to find out what the deals on Say Politique today at 9 p.m. So just follow CRTV. Stay with us, and we'll be following you back, of course.
Stay with us, so follow us, you know, all those things. I was going to say Myra, but Ruth Angel, thank you for being here.
Thank you, too.
I don't know if you smell my hairdo to go do yours the same, because now we happen to be looking like twins.
Oh, my.
So I'll be happy to see you again on Thursday.
God willing.
But I'm going to, since you done so well, I'm going to allow you to watch another beautiful song. Yes. The video is very fresh, it's just landing out there, but we were the first to give the audio, and we played with it here on the set, so you could have an earshot with some pictures that we put together, a picture collage. But no, the video is out. Mel B featuring Longe Longe, and they are singing Blessings. Please enjoy.
Mel B, Venus, Longe Longe. My God, don't bless me no lie. If I tell you the thing where I go through, you go cry. Oh, I'm not just blessed, I'm highly favored. From grace to grace, I'm going higher. I'm going higher. Blessings on blessings, blessings on blessings. Blessings on blessings, blessings on blessings. Blessings on blessings, blessings on blessings. It's upon me. Blessings on blessings, blessings on blessings. Keep on coming. You know, forget chagrin with God, yo. Consulting for this ground, now yo. When I buy my Chloe shades, now because of the grace, I'm a happy girl today, cause every day I'm getting my blessing. A blessing, a biggie blessing. So make you start to count your blessings and name them one by one, oh. Cause every day I'm getting my blessings one by one, oh. One by one, oh.
La force de Dieu, les miracles de Dieu. Dieu contrôle, baby. La fille de Dieu. Tout ce que l'on peut avoir dans la vie, c'est la grâce de Dieu. Tout ce que l'on peut avoir, c'est la grâce de Dieu. Longa longa libéré, grâce à Dieu. Longa longa il me bien kirikou, grâce à Dieu.
If I tell you the thing where I go through, you go cry, oh. I'm not just blessed, I'm highly favored. From grace to grace, I'm going higher. I'm going higher.
You know, figure chagrin where to go, yo. Cause anti for this one, I am yo.
When I bought my fine picking, and because of the grace, I'm a happy wife today. Cause every day I'm getting my blessing.
Détache ma gloire.
A blessing, a biggie lesson. So make you start to count your blessings and name them one by one, oh. Cause every day I'm getting my blessing one by one, oh. One by one, oh. Someday, yo. I want go someday, yo. When I village for the costa, yo. I
à Dieu.
Of course, ça va. We are enjoying it. Thank you. If you're wondering what's happening to us, we're thinking about you out there and want you to stay on the right foot. That's what's happening to us. Ruth Angel, see you on Thursday. And we'll be having another dancing session on Thursday.
Of course.
God willing. Till then, bye.
Have a hello day. The machines are playing hide and seek, but that's normal. It happens, isn't it? But we're up to it. We're about to just say bye-bye. We'll be having another heated, interesting, sweet, and dancing moment on Thursday with you. Wake up with us at 6 o'clock on Thursday, and the whole team will be here. But it will be a Bob Marley day. Today was a silver day, and on Thursday will be a Bob Marley day. Maybe that's why all of us were looking Bob Marley-like. But enough to, yeah. And we'll be coming ready on Thursday. Have a beautiful Thursday, and have a beautiful Tuesday, and see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Oh,